Happy April! Welcome back to another Club Flashpoint episode.
I was literally about to say it's May, you idiot, but no, you're right, it's April.
Come now.
I don't know.
Sometimes I do, and today was one of those days. Here I am, Dale Flashpoint, to introduce you to yet another episode of our wonderful gaming club, Club Flashpoint. We, once a month, play a video game and one other video game. One we play all together, all three of us.
Yeah.
And then one we play individually. We talk about that one a little bit, and then we talk about the big one a lot of it, in case you didn't know. My name's Dale Flashpoint. To my left.
Hi, I'm Faden Cross.
And to my right.
Uncle's back again.
Woo, 4 for 4.
The streak continues.
Yay! We're having so much fun. I'm having so much fun. I don't know about
Are you?
you guys.
Are you having fun?
Yeah, I am having a lot of fun.
That's the
okay.
point.
I love being here, and this is going to be a really good one.
Yeah, this is going to be a real good one.
I think so. This month, we played a game called Umurangi Generation. But before we dig into that, let's talk about some other games we played.
Yeah. What have you been playing, Dale?
I'll take it off. I'll lead it off. Yeah. So I'm really excited for our next month. And actually, I do want to address the elephant in the room.
Oh, shit, yeah. We should probably say,
we should
this
address
isn't
the elephant in the room.
Planescape Torment episode.
We gave
I forgot
up on
about
game.
that.
Yeah. Planescape Torment, not a bad game.
No.
Just a long game. And also, we got about halfway through, maybe a little more than that, and just didn't know what to talk about.
Yeah. Every time I thought about that game, static went through my head, just like pure white noise. And I couldn't form anything in my head about that game, which is weird.
Yeah. You asked if I wanted to play it, and I had heard about it, and then I looked it up. I just wanted to see somebody play a little bit of it, and I was like, you know what? Fascinating. That's a brick wall.
Yeah.
That's gonna that's gonna be something to climb.
I'd love to finish it someday, but we did not have.
I'm never going to finish it. I'm never going to finish it. I'm not lying to myself. Are you going to lie to yourself and say you're
I'll lie to myself. Yeah.
I will try it someday. I don't know.
I think it's worth trying, especially if you're a Disco Elysium fan.
I've updated my journal.
Yeah.
And truly, I guess the one thing I will say, updating my journal is probably one of the coolest fucking thing a character can say.
I've updated my journal.
It's sick. I love it every time. I never turn that shit off.
I've updated my journal.
I loved it when it happened every time. I'm like, yes, hell yeah, dudes rock.
I've updated my journal. It happens so much. I turned the voices off immediately in that game.
No, it's perfect.
So yeah, we switched to Umurangi Generation, a little bite-sized game that Faden and I are familiar with, and we wanted to introduce Uncle to it, and yeah. But I played Titan Quest for my non-Game Club game. Titan Quest is a game published by Iron Lore Studios. It came out in the early 2000s. I forget the exact date. We'll say 2006, but I'm probably wrong. And this game is an action RPG a la Diablo. It takes place in Greece, ancient Greece. It's very thematic for the Greek gods. The Titans have woken once again. Not even Zeus can save you.
Fuck. I hate it when Zeus can't save me.
Not even Zeus can save you.
Can Zeus, like, sew me into his leg and give birth to me as a half man, half god?
No. Not this time.
Fuck.
No, but what does happen is you wake up on the shores of Helos, a little village in trouble, and a farmer says, hey, we need your help. I don't know where you came from, but there's satyrs and shit everywhere.
There's satyrs and shit, man.
And shit.
So you go and you fight the satyrs, and you pick up a sword, or maybe a torch, or maybe a bow, or maybe a spear.
Wait,
whatever.
torch?
The torch is a weapon.
Okay.
You can use the torch.
Yeah.
It does bludgeoning and fire damage.
So like a magic staff.
No, that's also a thing.
Oh.
Yeah, you could also pick up a magic staff and cast fireball. Or if it's
Why
an ice
wouldn't I
staff,
do that?
it would be cold ball.
I don't know
Or
if
if it's
you
a
know
lightning
this,
staff,
but
it would be
fire is
lightning
not
ball.
actually magic. There are natural
No,
explanations for fire.
Fire is magic. A torch is basically just a fire magic staff. I don't know why we pretend otherwise.
This game introduced, and as far as I know, the game's produced by Iron Lore, which then eventually turned into Crate Entertainment. Spoiler alert, we're playing Grim Dawn next month. Which
This is the same. This is like the development.
It's the developers.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. This is a lineage.
This is a lineage, which is why I wanted to play it. So
Hell
in
yeah.
Titan Quest, what they do differently from other action-adventure RPGs, not action-adventure, action RPGs, you can multi-class. At second level, you get to pick your first class, and then at 8th level in Titan Quest, 10th level in Grim Dawn, you get to pick a second class. You don't have to. You can just single class. But the most fun that I've had in these games is coming up with different combinations. Well, I'm going to start as a hunter. What do I want to add in with my bow wielding? Oh, this track has necromancy. Sure, I'll have skeleton archers while I'm shooting my own bow. That sounds awesome. Or maybe you want to start out as a mage. You can start out as a fire mage. You go, yeah, that's kind of fun, but I want to double down and take the other mage class, too. Now I'm a fire and an ice mage.
See, my brain went to boring options. It's like, oh, I'm a bow person. What can I wield with this? I'm like, a sword. You want to be Aragorn, duh.
You could do that.
And then I was like, then he said staff. I was like, well, then a sword, because you can be Gandalf, duh.
You could do that.
You can do that, but those are the most boring options.
It's a very fun game. The other thing that I really like about it, in these ARPG games, you do a lot of treading back and forth. You pick up a bunch of items you're not going to use. You go back to the shop and you sell them. In Diablo, you had to have like a book of town scrolls, and that takes up a slot in your inventory. Grim Dawn and Titan Quest were like, you know what? You're going to be doing that a lot. You just got a rock that can make a portal wherever. And it doesn't take up an inventory slot.
Yeah. The loot system is usually the hardest part for me for ARPGs.
It is literally a grind.
I used to be okay. I can have the brain space for one loot grindy system in my life at one time.
You're just coming off of Dragon's Dogma too, right?
Well, it's not like that.
It's not like that.
It's not like that at all. But I came off of Strangers of Paradise, the Final Fantasy origin game I talked about last month, and that did that a lot. And that was miserable. I used to be super into Destiny too, which was also that to the
Raise
max.
your light score by 1 after 9 hours of grinding.
It's barf. It's like tuning a fucking car. For it to like squeeze out a little bit of performance here and there, and I like that stuff, but I have a hard time with it now these days.
I hope we can get through Grim Dawn. You're making me a little nervous.
No, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Like I said, I have room for one of them in my life.
Okay,
I can do this. I can do this.
Yeah.
I don't really have one that I do that for.
I think that wraps up Titan Quest for me.
Yeah?
Great game.
Wait, what class are you?
The one that I finished the game with, I started as the rogue.
Wait, you said finish the game.
Okay, I got to the final boss and lost.
Oh, okay. I just wanted honesty, reconciliation, and truth on this podcast.
Yeah.
What kept you from winning?
It's a hard boss fight.
Well, describe it.
You go in the intro cutscene.
Yeah.
You see this group of hoplites going after a temple, and they knock over a statue, and then a gorgon comes out and freezes them all in a stone.
Oh shit!
So I fought that gorgon, and she kicked my butt.
Did she freeze you in the stone?
Yeah.
Is it like? Do you have a mirror shield?
No, because the class I'm playing is a rogue and a swordsman. So rogue gets me crazy high poison damage. I can usually one hit a grunt, and then the poison damage is enough to kill it. And then I went sword swinger, which lets me dual wield. So I have 2 swords.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah. No shield.
No shield.
A mirror shield may help. We'll think about that.
Well, that's literally how you beat the gorgon.
Or I could just grind levels and get higher poison damage, and then
Yeah, that's true.
who knows?
What about you, Uncle?
Uncle decided to try a new game this month. I tried Darkest Dungeon. choice that you make is meaningful, and the combat is frenetic, and you feel the pain when a character you've spent a lot of time in is gone forever, and there's nothing you can do about it because of the autosaves.
Stick them in the sanitarium; they'll get better.
Yeah, and then it'll cost you all the money that you need to go out on your next expedition. Management of resources is really difficult to balance in the game early on. So it's a game that, in a lot of ways, I was intimidated by because I knew that there are characters you can lose forever. You can't play with your save games in ways you can do that in other RPGs. You just have to live with every horrible mistake you made, and sometimes it's a tiny little mistake. You just didn't bring one or two enough of a specific resource. You had a really bad dice roll in one combat encounter right before the big boss fight, and you've just lost the character you've been investing in for 5 or 6 dungeon raids now.
It's pain. I have a hard time with that game.
Yeah, I have a hard time with the pain too, and I think I wanted to challenge myself with that, and it was so rewarding. I think after learning a few hard lessons in the game, I learned how to play a little bit more safely, and then how to have fun with the risks that I was going to take. And I really, really appreciate the game for that. It taught me how to accept a little bit of pain and just make choices. Don't try to save scum so much. That's a mistake I make in a lot of my games.
Yeah.
And you don't have that choice in this game. You just got to play.
You just got to suffer.
You just got to suffer.
Baubles and trinkets.
Oh.
I love the narrator.
The narrator's
sound
very
is
good.
So good. The voices are so good. Even the gibberish you hear from the NPCs during combat is wonderful. The art, beautiful and horrible and disgusting. Everything I love in a grim, dark game.
Yeah, this is the era of grimdark for us.
I guess so.
Well, that's what you get for inviting an uncle onto your podcast.
Well, that's
what uncle is.
We're doing a heart campaign together.
Yeah.
Yes, we are. And holy crap, ladies and gentlemen, if you like Heart or Spire, it's you can see Darkest Dungeon in every inch of those games.
Yeah.
It's pretty wonderful, very thematic with what other things I'm already doing right now.
It's a little weird about mental illness, of course, because it's playing that gothic space.
You gotta definitely understand that this is a fantasy 16th century space, and they're definitely going all in on that angle.
Yeah, it's like real fucked up.
I'm nervous. I don't want to go in. Well, self-flagellate. You'll be fine.
Self-flagellate.
That's like one of the better ones. That's the worst part.
Self-flagellate until you become obsessed with it, and it's the only form of stress relief you will accept in town. And you'll pay anything for it. What a wonderful mechanic. Honestly, it's for the game to accept the psychosis that can come from stress relief.
Honestly, big fucking same.
Right? I don't know. It's a small thing that you can largely choose to ignore if you're really, really good at these kinds of games.
It's tough.
But if you're paying attention, you feel all the more invested in all the little decisions you have to make because of those mechanics.
Who's like your main? Who's the star of your team? Who's the quarterback?
I have a couple characters. It's hard for me because I actually have a few characters I really like. I have a Crusader who has just been able to take so much pain and just go and go and go, and took on so many negative side effects and has so many like psychoses and just keeps going anyway. And has really not ever been all that close to death somehow.
Wow.
I also have a leper, same exact situation.
Sorry, leper?
Yes, that's a class in the
I thought
game.
you were saying leopard.
No.
I was just imagining a leopard.
No.
I was like, I did not get to the furry part of that game. That rules.
A well-bandaged and masked leper with healing abilities, interestingly, and a big old sword.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Yes, those two characters have been able to take a lot of punishment for my other favorites, my highwaymen, and wow.
Yeah, we have a fourth guest in the studio. My dog Billy is just laying on the ground.
Absolutely cute. The perfect foil to the horror of the game that I'm describing is this adorable dog at my feet.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Wonderful. It's a good game. I recommend it for anybody who can take a little pain and likes grim and dark.
I can't wait to play Pathologic too.
It's going to be a painful game that I am.
Oh, are you gonna do it?
Wanting to challenge myself with.
Nice.
This is the year we put Uncle through the ringer.
Yes.
This is the Uncle reveal year.
Yeah.
We have a theme this year. We
do.
stumbled into it. We didn't plan to have one, but this is the year of the Uncle.
Oh, let's not let the whole year be about Uncle.
Oh, it's not about you, but we're putting you through it.
Yeah. Oh, this will be a fun episode.
I would also like to talk about a game that is about paying attention.
Please.
I played Dragon's Dogma 2 all last month. And wow. Wowie wow. That's just the ideal form of an adventure. Nothing, I can't, here's my complaints. There are two major things. Towns and cities are incomprehensibly buggy, like frame rate wise. It just slows down. It's gotten better over time. Every update has made it better and better, but the first week of that game, every time I got into the capital of Vernsworth, it stuttered. And it felt like I was running at 10 frames a second.
Oh, jeez.
And it would get worse when monsters would just suddenly be in the capital city. A dragon or a drake would just appear and start torturing people and killing NPCs, named NPCs too, that are important to quests. So I'd have to use a wake stone to revive them, which are expensive and hard to find. Not super hard, but it's not infinite. Or maybe it is. I don't care. It's work. It's work. So some NPCs just die. But for those unfamiliar, I have talked about Dragon's Dogma before.
The first one.
The first one. And now I'm talking about the second one. Great adventure game. You play as someone who has lost their heart to a dragon. Surprise. And the dragon is the embodiment of the will of nature and stands against humanity to test its will to live and control its own destiny.
You lose your heart to the will of nature.
Yeah.
What a beautiful image.
Oh, it's cool. And I'm glad they brought Gregory the Dragon back.
Oh, God, I forgot about the name.
Can you spell that for us?
No, I can't.
This is the worst part, too.
This is the worst part.
Gyriegyr.
It's something ridiculous. It rules. It's like
look it up. You'll do yourself a favor.
It is pronounced Gregory.
Gregory is the coolest dragon ever in all of fiction. This is just hands down right. He loves to test the will of humanity, but he also has no choice. It's so good. Oh, man. Okay. The big thing about this one is what I like about it. A lot of games have nature. That's just common. Especially these adventure games. Especially these fantasy adventure games. There's trees and forests the fuck everywhere. But none of it feels like nature. There's not really... There's no patterns of like cultivation and tree lines, and there's not really bushes that actually obscure things because animals hide in bushes in real life and shit. So you will walk through a forest, and there could just be goblins crouched down hiding in the bushes that you absolutely can't see, and they'll just go blah and attack you. And it's wonderful because it feels like like you can tell what type of wood you are based on the trees that are in there too. There are different forests that have different tree types, and you're like, oh yeah, this is the elven forest because these specific trees branch out in this specific way.
That's pretty cool.
I'm in the northern Vermin area because these trees are all like really big pines and oaks. Or I'm in the south where it's like, oh, these trees are a bit thinner because we're getting into warmer climates and shit.
What an incredible mechanic. Like, so often in games when there's a stealthed enemy,
yeah,
you can see them at all
every
times.
time.
You just know you're not supposed to be able to see them, or your character can't see them.
Yeah.
It's so much more oh, you're going to love this, immersive, for it to actually not be able to see the character and yet it be in the space. It's not just invisible, like truly not generated in the space yet. It's there.
It's there.
You just actually can't see it.
The best part is it plays with enemies you can see, who do specifically stand out to hide the enemies actually that you already passed that you didn't know about so they can come up behind you.
Nice.
Goblins have tactics, just like in the first one. This is what I love. I love it considers its world. And there's a lot of enemies that are the same from Dragon's Dogma. You're fighting 90% of the enemies, exact same enemies. But they all play differently. They all have different mechanics, different patterns, different ways it interacts with the world.
They learned. They learned from the last game.
Yeah, they learned from... Or just like the game, doing this in this modern era has given them the chance to expand what they could do. You could push a troll off a broken bridge, and the troll will grab the other side of the bridge trying to survive and just walk across the troll.
Incredible. Just
walk across. It rules.
Who knew?
I mean, it's in the trailers, but it still rules. But, like, I forgot about it until I was playing it. I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. This is what they do. I can make Cyclops bridges.
A troll bridge.
Yeah.
Literally.
Feels more like a lived-in world.
Yes. I love... Man, the characters are also really weird, specific, just the most weirdly specific guys. Especially, everyone's hot for you in this game. Everyone's so horny for the Arisen. This game is also, like, very sex-forward. It understands part of the fantasy nature is being in the bikini armor. But, like, what if you made the bikini armor non-gender specific? And so everyone can have the bikini armor, which tends to be the best armor. Finally. Oh, you found the thong and high-heeled boots? Well, guess what? That's 100 points more of defense than your previous thing, and that's a significant amount. Excellent. So if you want to have the best armor, wear that thong.
Let them cheeks out.
Let them cheeks fly. And, yeah, there's a new mechanic in this where your pawn, you get a pawn that's just, this is your servant, you create the pawn, they follow you around everywhere. They have different...
The pawn system.
The pawn system's back and better than ever. It's, they have more interactions, they have more dialogue. They talk a lot. It's great. It's so good. When you beat a battle, some pawns will hold out a hand for a high five or an elbow bump, and so you'll go up to them and just give them 5.
Nice.
Can you also ignore them and then see their disappointment?
No, they don't seem disappointed. They don't seem disappointed because they're really affable.
Gotcha.
Unless your pawn starts acting weird. See, there's a tale that other pawns tell of a disease that gets contracted across the rift.
Pokerus.
It is. So your pawns, all of a sudden, they're really good at combat. They're really good at combat. They're killing things.
Yeah.
And then they stop listening to you. You tell them to come, and they're just like, no, I'm going over there. And you're like, well, that's weird. They're supposed to listen to me. And then you start noticing their eyes glow beet red.
Ooh.
So, this is the Dragon's Plague. I guess skip this because kind of cool mechanical spoilers. If you sleep in a town when your pawn has a Dragon's Plague and is at the final stage of it, they will transform into a dragon and kill everyone in town.
Oh my god. That's incredible.
Yes.
That's a really fun mechanic.
So you got to pay attention to what your pawns are saying. You can't just ignore them because you think they're going to say just nonsense.
A meaningful disease mechanic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the only solution is just fucking throw them in the Eldritch Horror water because, it's Dragon's Dogma. The brine exists. You can't go in open seas because there's a little tentacle Eldritch creature that eats things. It's a great game. I love being a magic archer. Magic archer's the best. Just fire magic missiles from a bow.
Always an aesthetic I've loved.
Yeah.
Yeah. Legolas, but spells.
Legolas, but spells. Yeah. Like, one of my favorite things is to do just giant frost bolts that just swirl around an enemy and freeze them as they keep getting hit by them.
Nice.
Amazing.
Oh, it's good.
Very anime.
Yes. Oh my god. There's so much. This game was massive. It took a lot of my time, but loved it. Cool end game. The title screen just says Dragon's Dogma, and I got 80 hours into the game, and then the Dragon's Dogma 2 title screen hit. And it was the coolest fucking thing ever. I'll save that for people who want to get into it.
Amazing.
So it's Umurangi time, huh?
It is.
Umurangi Generation.
Strap on your roller skates, grab your wide-angle lens.
And fisheye.
And fisheye, maybe a telephoto, perhaps just a standard. Maybe you got the Game Boy camera lens.
Okay. We should do what we always do on the show, though, right, Dale?
I think we got to lead in with an elevator pitch.
And I think I know whose turn it is. So, Uncle,
Ready.
you ready for this?
Let's do this.
You're gonna have 30 seconds on the clock.
Okay.
To pit. you're bringing like game show contested energy to this.
I'm ready, Steve.
All right, show me a pitch for Umurangi. Go.
All right, so here's my idea. So we all fucking hate capitalism, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So we hate capitalism. Colonialism, sir, you don't like colonialism either, right? No? God, fuck it. New Zealand, what a place. What a wonderful place that we should definitely try and capture, especially the people who live there and are from there, right, sir? Yes? Okay. Neon Genesis, Evangelion.
Stop.
Shit.
I think that's good.
Fucking decolonialism,
Yeah.
anti-capitalism, Neon Genesis. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
the only other thing I would have said is taking pictures.
Taking pictures.
Taking pictures.
Oh, so we played Umurangi Generation instead of Planescape Torment.
Instead of, yeah.
Which I think was a better choice.
Maybe that's the new intro to this show and so instead of playing Planescape Torment,
The rest of the years, instead of Planescape Torment, we played.
that's the theme.
Look, we'll get our Chris Avalone fix at the end of the year. It'll be fine.
Oh, my.
We can deal with those shitty politics there. But yeah, a first-person photography simulated game by Ogami Digital.
Ogami Digital.
And came out in May 2020, which was almost 4 years ago from
That's
now.
crazy.
I played it upon release. This is...
I think I played it a year after release.
I think that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Because I was the one...
You hyped it up.
I hyped this game up hard. For better or for worse.
Honestly, if I had played this game when it came out, it would have meant a lot more to me.
Well, yeah,
Especially
consider what was happening.
What was happening, what I specifically had been a part of exactly when that game came out.
Yeah.
It would have meant a lot more. And we'll talk about it, but the very last level specifically hit me a lot different.
Yeah, so let's go around the table, get general thoughts. Uncle, let's start with you, seeing as you have some thoughts.
I will try to be succinct, and I want to make this absolutely
It's a
clear.
podcast. They're not supposed to see.
I know, but I want to be. This is what I'm striving for, and I apologize, audience, because I know I'm not going to achieve it. Umurangi Generation, I want to make this clear, is a wonderful game. It is a really cool game, and it is for so many people, and it is in a weird way. It is for me. And it also is a game I did not enjoy, and I want to make it clear that I don't even know that it's the game's fault that I didn't enjoy this game. I think this is a very revealing experience for me as a gamer and as an artist and a person. I had to think a lot about myself while I was playing this game. And not in any way that I think the game intended for me to think about myself. So I want to make that clear too. I love the messaging of this game. I love the aesthetic of this game in some aspects, but a lot of this game was not working for me, and I don't blame the game for that.
Okay.
I have weird hang-ups about specific color palettes, and for whatever reason, the colors they're so loud. I think Dale said that.
Very loud
before,
color palette.
Very loud color palette. And I like that sometimes. I do actually. It's hard for me to distinguish when I do and don't. But in this case, it did something to me. It hurt me. My eyes hurt, and I had a hard time. I know there were filters I could use with all the tools I had to change that, but I had a hard time looking at this game. And I feel so mean saying that. It just wasn't working for me. The figures, the characters, I think they seem to be something that a lot of other people connect with and feel really, inspired by the figures and the individuals depicted in this game. And they were, for whatever reason, I did not like the way they looked. It upset me. Their faces upset me. They seemed like paper dolls, which doesn't mean that's not to be an insult to paper dolls. There are wonderful paper dolls in the world. It didn't work for me.
All my homies are paper dolls.
Yeah, it just didn't work for me. The design for cats in this game. I love cats, and I did not like the way these cats looked. I didn't like it. I didn't like the lack of movement outside of yourself in this game. The character can move freely throughout this space. In my case, often too freely. I dropped through walls. I dropped through floors. I moved through walls. I got shot into space. I had a bizarre gaming experience. I think I bugged out a lot more than the average player seems to do. I watched a few playthroughs, and I felt like when I was playing, it felt so much looser and
less grounded in reality.
Less grounded in reality, certainly,
and the space itself,
certainly. And I did have a lot of difficulty getting pictures to register. And what was difficult for me was, although it was pointed out to me that in a few cases I just needed to be closer to the thing that it asked me to take pictures of.
You need to be real close.
In some cases, yeah,
up into the face.
But there were cases where the whole frame was the thing it was telling me to take the picture of, and I took, to me, 5 or 6 identical pictures, and one of them worked and the rest of them didn't.
And even if it was 2 or 3, that's still annoying.
It was. Again, while I was playing it, I was like, "There's no way this happens to most people." While they're like, it felt weird. I think I had a unique experience. Also,
your computer tends to have issues.
Yeah, I was just gonna say another fun thing I discovered halfway through playing this game was that I had unplugged my monitor before I started playing this game, and that resets it. It's an old monitor. It's funky, and I really needed to adjust the settings because after I had fixed some things specifically related to the sharpness of the image, I could finally bear to look at this game. It was hideous because of a technical problem on my end. My hangups with color on my end. Yeah, I think my hangups with my machine not working. Mm-hmm. My end. I can't blame this game. It
does run not the greatest a lot of times.
It's a small indie game.
It's a small indie game
made by a really cool developer who, when I looked into, I'm really impressed with. They do some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I really like the design.
It's just like any art. Sometimes it just doesn't work for you.
Yep.
And this one didn't work for me at all times. There were things I really liked, especially in Macro, the DLC. I think we don't have to talk about that right now. But
we will.
Yeah.
But we will.
Those are my general impressions, is that this is a really cool game about art, about photography. One last thing, another form of art I struggle to connect with. I appreciate really cool photography from other people. It's not my favorite form of media to consume, and I am particularly bad at it. So another uncle hang up. I'm not good at it. So it's difficult for me to remain engaged in a game in which that's all you do.
Yep.
And we can talk more about mechanics later. But I think those are my first impressions. Thank you for listening.
Dale, what are your impressions of this game?
I love this game. This game is stylish. This game has a blisteringly hot, fresh soundtrack. Oh my God. Adolf Nomura knocked it out of the park. I listened to the soundtrack in my free time. It is so good. It evokes everything I love. It evokes everything I love.
Evox.
I like Evox. I might start using that.
That is definitely like a fantasy character mage name.
Evox.
This is an evocative game.
It is an evocative game.
God, yeah.
And the music evokes everything that I love about dance music.
Yes.
I love electronic music, and this game uses some of my favorite sounds. It uses some of my favorite rhythmic patterns. It just brings out the party in my mind.
Yes.
And when I'm just rocking around town on my rollerblades with my camera out, and I got the freaking Every Beat Forever by Adolf Nomura playing in my head, it's just the greatest. It's awesome. I'm snapping photos. I'm getting in people's faces. I'm changing lenses. I'm editing chromatic aberration and color palettes. It is the tops. This game, as I wrote, is a neon-soaked dystopia, which is always my jam.
Forgive me for not mentioning the soundtrack. It is.
Oh my god!
Oh, it rips.
The soundtrack is so good.
It's pretty wonderful.
I also wrote that giant robots, but at what cost?
Yes,
We are always asking, but at what cost when the giant robots come
Nobody
out.
prepares you for how bad the kaiju are, but how cool the robots are.
Yeah. In the very first level of this game, you find yourself on a rooftop and you're hanging out with your friends. And I do want to counter Uncle's. There's no movement by the characters.
Okay,
there's
you're
movement
right.
by your four friends.
You're
and
right.
That's it.
You're right.
But they stay in place.
They don't move around the
Movement
map. Yeah.
through the world
Right.
until the last
Until
level.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
And I think that's important, actually. I won't lie. Because if they can do it in the last level, why didn't they do it for the rest of Macro?
I'm ready to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on the first level, you're just hanging out on the rooftop, looking out at this cool sunset. The sea is like pink red because the sun is low, and you're like, yeah, this is awesome. And then fighter jets fly over, and then you kind of realize, wait a minute, what am I looking at there? That's kind of just rested haphazardly on the. What is that giant cylinder? Does that say property of the UN on it? Does that also say 12,000 millimeter shell? What 12,000 millimeter? What is that? What do we need 12,000 millimeters of hot lead to fight against? I sure don't know at this point in the game. Just a little confused little guy hanging out with a camera. That's all. The way that this game evolves into literal hell,
Yeah.
is so powerful. It spoon feeds you little bits, and then level 3, it's like you're fucking here. You're in it. You're in the trenches, baby. It's scary. The game gets scary. The game gets powerful, and it brings you in. It draws you close with its blue bottle tendrils. Don't take pictures of the blue bottles.
Don't take pictures of the blue bottles. Your propaganda overlords don't like that.
Yeah, no, the blue bottles aren't real.
I think this another uncle problem.
Yeah.
Hang up. Uncle is soaked in grim dark, and so this didn't spook me. Like I understand why it's spooky.
Did you turn up the filter all the way on the shot of the?
I did completely on accident, and oh, okay.
Oh.
That was my reaction. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm not spooked. And that's not anyone's fault but me for desensitizing myself to the world.
As a tall person, tall things scare me.
Sure.
I also want to pull out a quote from Natalie Clayton, a writer for Rock Paper Shotgun. They wrote a very good article about Umurangi Generation when it first came out, and then again another great article about the Macro DLC.
Should we link those in the episode notes?
We will absolutely link those, but here's the pull quote from the Macro DLC article. Natalie wrote, "Veselikov's photo romp has never been shy about its views, with the base Umurangi Generation game deeply concerned with its Maori roots, colonialism, and the radical act of creating art at the end of the world," which I think is powerful. Very vivid description of this game. Creating art at the end of the world is exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, I'm someone who does A, believe in that, but B, also thinks it's one of the most funnier, like, milquetoast, like, leftist artist things to say. Because I feel like it's something I hear a lot these days, is creating art at the end of the world. And when I played this originally, it was very new, though. Like, that it wasn't, especially, like, it hit stronger being in lockdown under COVID.
Yep.
And going, God,
Yep.
this feels like the end of the world.
I missed the window for this to really hit me.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
It really hits when you're playing it in, like, the start of COVID. I won't lie.
Yeah. This game is Jet Set Radio plus Pokemon Snap, and that's a potent mix for me.
Yeah, and going back to this game for me, I've come with a different appreciation of it. It was way more arcadey than I remembered. It feels like I'm playing an arcade-style game. And that works for me sometimes, and other times it just... Okay, what doesn't really work for me is I think the jumping feels bad.
When you get the skates, you get a double jump. Did you know that?
No, you get a double jump right away.
Is it right away?
Yeah, you have a double jump at the beginning.
Though.
There's all kinds of ways to launch yourself straight up into the sky, is what I've discovered.
If you double jump into the lip of something, you get launched.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and so that's actually the one thing I do like about the jumping, actually, is getting launched into the sky, because that's how I would get to things easier. But I thought it was actually more annoying to try to jump like you're actually supposed to jump via the platform mechanics. So I would intentionally catch myself, press the space bar a lot, and launch myself high up to get where I needed to go. That's my favorite glitch of the game.
This is not a platforming game.
But it is. But it is, but it isn't.
Yeah.
When you get the skates, all bets are off. You're just going through the stairs as if it doesn't exist. And that was really frustrating to reset in the level.
I used the skates for about 5 seconds. Said nope, I'm not fucking with this.
I do like them though.
I thought it was cool. I think I was like, if I was having a less broken experience, I was like, this would be helpful, but this is not helping me.
This is adding to the problems.
Yeah.
But the appreciation that I come with now is game photo modes still suck. They suck really hard. Dragon's Dogma 2 came out, beautiful game, one of the worst photo modes I've ever done. Let me move the camera away from the character. And just, I appreciate a game that is concerned with photography as a lover of photography. I like pictures. I like taking pictures. I like taking pictures in games. It's just something I like to do, to see what like sort of shots I can get, especially when we all have the same box to play in. And Umurangi Generation is an advocate for, we all have the same box to play in, but we can all create just radically different looking photos and different compositions. And I really appreciate that the game only values if you get the image in the photo, as opposed to the Pokemon Snap method of, well, is it in the center of the frame? Is it really big? Is there other Pokemon in there? What's the pose it's doing? This is a point-based system, and you will be rated based on that. And I'm not creating good photos in that game. I'm just creating fucking giant-ass big pictures.
I guess I just felt like I was never taking good photos in this game. And that's probably, again, my problem. But I never took a picture that I liked in this game. I tried a lot. Mm-hmm. I think I pretty early on got overwhelmed by the options with the filters.
Yeah.
For me, I suffer from just a lot of choice paralysis generally. And
this is not a good game for that.
No, especially when there's no intrinsic reward for doing any specific kind of filter, any specific kind of way. You are rewarded for using, or you're required to use different lenses, which I like. I like when a game's mechanics help me explore the game.
Yeah, play around with it.
Yeah, I like a little bit of incentive for play. But the filters just kind of, I got locked up, and I don't think I truly, and I don't know that I can blame the game for this. I don't think I ever took a picture in this game I liked. And that made me so sad. Because I was like, this is a game that I know means so much to people who mean so much to me. I was like, why can't I? Why don't I like it?
I love the progression of your opinions, though.
Yeah. It was bad.
It was bad. The text messages I was getting while you were playing this game.
Context for that, though, I was having a horrible day when I first everything was working against me, audience. Yep. I had thrown my back out the day I tried to play this game. I was in agony. I
kept saying you didn't have to keep pushing.
I know,
you were so stubborn about it.
I was so stubborn.
Funny.
I was having such a bad day. I was like, let me just finish this one fucking thing. I just want to do this one thing. My friend loves it. Please, God, just let me enjoy this art. And so that's another lesson for all of us. Don't force it.
Yeah.
When you're trying to enjoy art. Because second pass at macro, I didn't hate it.
Yeah, and I would like to say, like, macro, I think is just all in all a much better experience. You can tell this is made by people who worked on the first bit and decided to continue their ideas.
Yeah.
And it rules.
Yes.
God. So, I guess give brief story overview.
Should we go through the levels?
We could go through the levels,
Yeah.
but I was also thinking just real short summary because this game doesn't have outward plot. It's all environmental. It's contextual. You derive the story from context. You derive it from the papers on the ground, the graffiti on the wall, the way people are being processed in the world. And so the overall plot is you are a photographer for presumably a UN organization that wants to pump out probably photos or something, or saying, this is the life of everyone's day while we are dealing with a kaiju invasion because we fucked up the climate. And so the UN has...
Is it explained by climate?
It's heavily implied. Especially when you're looking at some of the graffiti in Macro.
Yeah.
I really liked that. It was because there's stuff. If you fuck with nature, why would you expect nature not to fuck back? With
I actually think that's in the main.
I'm horribly paraphrasing that.
There's one in the main game where it's
you're right.
The kaiju are the response to how we treated nature. Why would we fight back?
You're right.
Nice.
And so it's clear that humanity fucked up in some way, very Godzilla style. Humanity fucked up. Here's now kaiju trying to correct the humanity's mistake. And you play as the Umurangi generation. You are the last generation on Earth. Mm-hmm. You are the ones to see it die. So your character goes through taking photos of the death of humanity. And it ends in a very Neon Genesis. You see the spirit of your ancestors, and you see the presumably thing that ends the world.
In a big red soaked
sky. It's a big red sky, very inspired by the Australian bushfires.
Yeah,
and that's the main reason people are wearing masks too. Is because of the fire aspect, not the COVID as much. But then the game started becoming about the government's response to COVID as it progressed in development.
I will say one thing that hit really hard when the very first level was, you look out at this world and this urban space that you're in, because you're right, there is a beautiful sunset, there's all this natural splendor to look at on this rooftop, and you can also turn and look at a city imprisoned with giant walls. And I would say the first thing that tipped me off that this was going to be an end of the world horror game was that there are fucking UN banners everywhere, and that is instant. And so although I feel like in some ways I missed the time window for this game, we really didn't.
Nope. It's a colonial occupying force.
Playing that game now, looking at that space,
especially with the Palestine situation,
a walled urban city with fucking blue and white banners everywhere of this occupying force,
oppressive soldiers.
Pretty horrible, and that did hit. I guess the messaging of this game, love it. Yeah. I see it. I appreciate it. War fucking sucks.
Well, and I think there's something interesting that happens with the UN troops. So in Macro, there's UN troops in shorts and stuff because they're not used to the environment. But in the main game, the UN troops are actually the people that are from your culture, your place. They are a lot of the people of this place actually now doing the war. And Macro indicates, hey, there were people earlier that weren't from here and they can't handle the climate, so they're dressing differently than what everyone was dressing in the main game.
I did not catch that.
Yeah, that's what and maybe I'm wrong, but that's a good
I like that reading.
You can draw these inferences in this game of how people move, how things change, especially with Macro being a prequel.
Yeah.
The 2 weeks earlier, and you can see society devolve. It's hoof.
It is hoof.
Hoof. So, Dale, you mentioned you wanted to go through the levels.
Yes. I can't find a fucking list. I've been sitting here looking for a list of the levels.
It's in the Game Club production.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Let me pull that up.
Yeah.
I found that list.
Yeah, you found the list, Dale.
Amazing. Hold on, folks. In level 1, called
Forgive our pronunciation for all of these things. Yeah. This is very indigenous language, Maori coded.
I can say Maori, but I can't say Mau. Muauo.
Maovu.
Maovu.
We're Americans from Michigan.
Yeah. From Michigan, you
Yeah,
know?
we're Americans from Michigan. From Midwest. Michigan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Moawa View is the level that I described, where you're hanging out on the rooftop. It's the sunset, the jets storm over top, and then you realize, oh, those are giant fucking gun shells.
I like the birds. I like the seagulls and the big giant, I can't remember that bird's name, but that bird has a specific significant.
Is that a cultural bird to the Maori people?
Yeah, it's the feather. That always shows up. It's
feathers,
okay.
Yeah.
And
That's pretty cool.
I'm feeling bad because I remember reading that.
Those feathers are spray painted all over the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I got a good picture of that bird peeking around the corner at me. What are you looking at? I'm looking at you, bird.
And now, Uncle, to your thoughts.
Yeah, so you have to take a picture of some markers, and you have to take a picture of some cameras, and there are some other pictures that you take too.
How do we feel about the friend group? Specifically, the one member of the friend group who kind of stands out a little.
You mean the one with the awesome jacket?
No, I mean the penguin.
No, that doesn't stand out.
No, I was thinking of the one with the awesome jacket too, because I like the jacket.
Yeah,
that's one of the few
jacket's
designs I
awesome.
really like.
They rule, yeah, and they have a feather in their hair
Yeah, they have
too.
pretty great hair. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, they're
cute
so good.
glasses. Yeah.
They're my favorite to take pictures of. They do the coolest poses.
Maybe the only human figure I was like, I kind of like this one.
But I do. I mean,
Yeah.
I do. Now I'm thinking, I do like them all though. They all have their own different things, and I like in macro when they don't want to pose, depending on the situation, because they're fucked up from the things, but the others will pose.
You know what? I think we've left out an important detail, and we're here like almost an hour in the podcast. The visual style of this game evokes PlayStation 1.
Yes, it's a PS1
Yes,
game.
I was just gonna say that. Yes, this looks like a PlayStation 1 game, and I gotta say again, that is an aesthetic I really don't like. I really don't like it. I don't like it.
It takes me back.
I got into PlayStation 1 in like my adult years. And I don't know, it just I always liked it. Maybe it was an air of mystery because I always had a Nintendo, so I was like, that's the different thing. So maybe that's why I got into it. Because I was thinking, is it nostalgia that I like it? And maybe. But I also got more into it from this game.
Sure.
The second level takes us to a bunker, a UN bunker, Otomo Atai, where you...
Sharky!
Yeah, you gotta find Sharky. Take a picture of Sharky. What's Sharky? A fucking mortar launcher.
A mortar.
Wear ear protection. I like it. What's it's like? If you want to be an audio engineer, wear ear protection. God damn it!
One of the best goals from that is to find a quote sarcastic property of UN, and it's plastered on some guy's helmet.
Yeah, I that was a frustrating one for me. Another thing, I don't like scavenger hunts.
Yep.
I knew I was gonna find this on some guy.
Yeah.
Like property. It says, what does it say? Ironic or sarcastic?
Ironic, sarcastic.
Yeah, one of those two words. I was like, okay, so it's on a person. I looked everywhere. I think I walked past this guy 10,000 times, just not paying attention.
Also, another indication though that these are the people of this place. They are the last defense. They probably were drafted by the UN as adults to fucking do it.
Could very well be.
This level, I think you unlock the telephoto lens after the first level.
Yeah, we have to take the telephoto lens of the fucking solar panels. Probably one of my least
That's a hard
favorite
shot
one.
to get.
Yeah.
You got to get 10 solar panels with a telephoto lens? How are you going to stand far enough away?
I think that was one of the first ones that really frustrated me.
Yeah,
and it like really frustrated me, and because I was counting like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. That's 10. I swear to God, 10. I think just it wasn't. Maybe one or two of them there wasn't enough of it. Maybe.
Yeah. No, that.
But then there were other cases where I would try to take a picture of something else, and I'd get credit for one of the objectives. And I'm like, I literally cannot see that thing in this picture. I can't see it. That happened several times.
Did you ever take a photo that cleared more than one objective?
Yes.
Yeah, it's easy to do.
That's
always on
cool
accident.
feeling.
You go
Always
to the
on
corner
accident.
of the map, you get the ultra wide angle, and then it gets like 4 objectives.
Yeah. That's when
easy.
I was at my most frustrated, I would just run around and wide angle, and brute force it until I'd find wherever the thing was, and then
What I like a lot about Automatai is that you really start to see the news clippings. You get to see some very grainy photos of these kaiju, and that's when it really starts to...
And the alien targets.
Oh, yeah, the alien targets that they're practicing on. Yep. That's when the subtext really starts to come to the front, and it's like, oh, this is a kaiju game.
Yeah, for fans of Neon Genesis, this game is a must-play.
Next, we go to the walled city known as Kati Kati.
This one is like, I go back and forth how much I like and dislike this one. It feels really big, and there's a lot of jumping on, like, the trims of buildings.
Yep.
This is also the take a picture where the cop, take picture of cop. Real close.
Yes, I think I ranted to you about that one for maybe 4 minutes.
That's another classic
straight.
one in my head.
That one, I swear to God, I took 10,000 pictures of the word fucking cop before it accepted a picture of the word cop.
Damn.
Oh, I don't know what I was doing wrong.
You got Walled City thoughts?
Walled
Dale?
City evokes kind of a big sorrow for me. The mood there is really glum. There's a memorial to people who have died in this conflict.
Yeah.
All candles are someone who died.
Yeah. It's this really brings you back to the humanity of it all, and it's a good counter to the war that we just saw in the last level. The let's get ready, let's go, let's get these fuckers dead.
And it's clearly not going well.
No.
Also starting to get introduced to punks that are hiding on the outskirts of levels. That's the thing that slowly starts building, like the motorcycle punks.
Oh, yeah.
Like you start seeing them there.
Do not move through the world, but certainly move in the world. They do a lot of spinning.
We'll get the punks.
Stage 4 is the Strand.
Yeah,
we're on the streets.
Yeah, it's like it's a gamer. It's the gamer town.
Yeah.
Where there's gamer everywhere. You gotta take a picture of gamer.
Everyone's dancing in the streets. There's some good loud music.
There's also a mech hand.
That's crashed through part of the wall.
And like the mech pilot having a smoke.
Yep.
And when I first played this game, I did not watch Neon Genesis Evangelion. And so after playing this game, I was like, oh, it's just literally the same. Okay, they're the same mech pilot outfits. That's just...
It's a pretty inspired is being generous. It's
Neon
Genesis.
I mean, to be fair, mech suits, combat suits, that's always a thing.
Yeah, you're right.
But they're very Neon Genesis style.
It's
not Gundam mech
Genesis,
suits. Yeah. It's not G Gundam latex.
Yeah, especially when you see the mechs right in their faces.
Level 5 takes us back to Otomoetai, but this time there's contact. It's
Kaiju
night.
Attack.
It's dark. There's gunfire. People are shooting.
I like that one of your friends is shooting.
Yeah, your friend just picks up a gun and is throwing lead down range.
It rules.
And every now and then, a flash illuminates the sky just enough that you can make out a silhouette of something in the distance.
And also up close as its tentacles are on the building.
On the fucking building, yeah.
Yeah, no, it rules. Just like that. I remember that first time doing it, I was like, oh, God.
That was the drop for me.
Yeah, I really like it. Uncle, this is your first time experiencing it. No opinions?
I was looking around, I was like, oh, I thought this was neat.
I wish it was cool.
It's a jellyfish.
Ooh. Jellyfish. Oh no. It's going to sting me. I
wish things were moving. It's like, I don't know why that bothered me so much.
Yeah. I can kind of get that. It's like, I'm under attack from a still monster.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's like
that breaks some immersion.
It's like I'm moving through a painting.
That's what the game kind of feels like, though.
Yeah,
it does feel like it's a painting that, or one of those holographic cards that you can kind of turn, and they might have a different little moving image.
After the fight, we all board the train to Karangahake, and people are not looking good on this train.
I love this train level. I do think take a close-up picture of the flashing red light is pretty bad.
So bad.
Yeah, I think that one's rough.
That
one takes me a while every time.
It took me I had to watch a playthrough.
Yeah.
Because I read a description of what to do, and I still fucked it up. I couldn't figure it out.
I think I needed help with that one on my first try.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Rough.
There's like a few of them that just stand out to me as tough to get.
Yeah.
But I really do like the train. I love being in a train in a game, and I like how narrow it is. And just, it feels claustrophobic because it just straight up is.
Yeah.
This is a bad situation. We're train escaping. That's not going good for us.
The train enters the station, the metro, and you get to see people unloading for level 7. The people being relocated by the UN.
Okay, so the metro actually, one that I didn't make much of an impression on me the first time. This time, though, I'm like, oh shit, I think I get what's going on with the graffiti finally. There's a question of what is allowable protest. What is allowable graffiti? And yeah, you can paint butterflies, you can paint like squid things, you can be like, we fucked the climate. But as soon as you start criticizing the UN, things start getting weird. You can say things like UN means unresponsive or whatever the fucking unnecessary. Yeah, that one's really stupid. But I think it's intentionally stupid because next to the UN equals unnecessary with the UN of unnecessary highlighted, there's a fuck the UN, but fuck is whited out. Mm-hmm. And then you go across the street where the punks are dancing. And there's a very specific graffiti they're dancing on. Kill fascists. Kill them.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. And so this is where I'm like, oh yes, because the punks are like the actual like side of society who gets what's up.
Yeah.
And the UN isn't where they're at. So they're not covering that up or breaking that up. Instead, they're worrying about the orderly people who are making the most milquetoast protest graffiti ever. That's allowable. You can have criticisms, but you can't say kill the fascists. And so they dance on that. Like there's a punk doing spins and dancing on top of that graffiti.
Damn.
Never noticed that.
Yeah.
Me either.
That I never noticed that before, and it clicked for me on this
I
level.
knew there were things I was missing. I just was so frustrated looking at everything I was looking at that I was like, I wasn't paying enough attention.
It's hard, right? Because like when mechanics frustrate you, when the thing itself frustrates you, it like closes you off from opening up to the game in other ways.
Yeah.
And what can you do about that? That's just the nature of playing things.
You know what I really liked in macro? Oh, so we'll get there. Sorry. Let's continue.
Yeah, we got to continue.
We're on stage 8 of regular game.
Yeah,
We're almost there.
We're almost there.
We go back to the rooftop, back to our view for invasion. It's night again, and on the skyline horizon, there are mechs.
There are 4 mechs standing in silhouette and a giant kaiju running and walking in place, making its way there. It is moving. It is moving like you want, but it's just moving in place. But it's a nice effect. It is a nice effect. It does feel like it's moving, but it is like once you look at it again, you're like, you're not going anywhere, are you?
Yeah. Yeah.
You get a nice achievement if you take a big photo of it, because like take a photo of the invasion.
Yeah.
That was the first time I got that. I like that one because, hey, we're back at the first level, and it's sad, but also it's kind of a house party in a weird way.
Shit, that's where the list ends. There's 2 more levels,
There's one more. It's the last one.
Yeah,
it's 10, and then, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know what the last... It just goes right after that, right after the invasion, it goes into the last level.
Which is just called question marks.
Yes. Right, because it is the end. You're either in an ethereal plane or you're just in nature somewhere.
This is that direct reference to End of Evangelion.
Yeah.
It really is. You can't have
there's no nihilistic boy choking out the shit of the girl he wants to come to while she's asleep, so... I don't think that's happening. Look,
right,
I have turned even the End of Evangelion, some of the worst shit I've ever seen. That movie's fucking terrible.
But like the imagery here is just
yes, you're right.
The End of Evangelion.
You're right.
It's not literally, but it is literally.
And yeah, you see your two of your ancestors or something like as spirits, and there's just this giant fucking creepy thing, and you take one last photo, and that's the end of the game.
Is it though?
Or
it's not, because then Umurangi Macro comes out, and we get 4 prequel episodes.
It's so good.
They're pretty neat.
Yeah, let's our overall view of Macro, because Uncle, you seem happier about Macro than the main game.
So yeah, well, a few things were working for me this time. I had space from the bad, horrible day that I was having when I first forced my way through this game. I had figured a few other things out in my life that had just brought me peace in other ways. So
and your back wasn't thrown out.
My back exactly was not thrown out at the time. I don't know. The art was doing something for me this time around. I don't know. The settings
do look different.
It's different. Yeah, I don't really know how to describe it. I'm not all that articulate in
movement.
describing art, but there is more movement.
There's a lot more movement.
Especially at the end.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more movement.
Even in the beginning, there's just dancing people.
Yes.
There are people having fun.
Exactly. The space is more interesting to me.
Yeah.
And the graffiti's a lot better, I think.
Well,
I think it's more interesting.
No, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I think that's also part of the story of the graffiti. Notice the graffiti changes after the crackdown at the end.
Yeah.
Level 1 of Macro puts us in the nightclub.
No, in the Gamers Palace.
It's called Gamers Palace.
Oh. Yeah, it rules. It's the Gamers Palace.
It's a Gamers nightclub.
It's a Gamers nightclub. There's like controllers everywhere.
A lot of people are wearing VR.
DJ Tarek is live.
Oh, fucking DJ Tarek, the dolphin DJ slave. Yeah. It's really grim.
Horrible.
It's like there's like they clone these. There's like multiple DJ Tareks, and DJ Tarek doesn't own the right to DJ Tarek's music. But DJ Tarek's out here making great tracks, aka baby kaiju motherfuckers. It also has like the robot. What's the Sam voice almost, but like female Sam voice for like Apple machines.
Yes.
Or it's like Siri. It's like Siri as a dolphin making tracks and talking about how he's going to steal your bitch.
Yes.
It's amazing.
The one consistent voice in the game, and it's actually not that bad.
No. I really Macro also does this a lot. There's the how is this level fucked up though? So the Gamers Palace is bopping with music and everything, and you can see there's a giant staircase that you see, and you go up the staircase and the big doors open. It's just dead silence as there's like people are evacuating and hiding from a kaiju attack, and like your friends are wounded. Only one friend wants to pose. The other two look like they're fucked up.
Yeah.
And there's just like bleeding people, homeless people. It's spooky.
Yeah.
The tone difference is very interesting.
Yeah.
I like what they did. They're trying to do what they did in the main game, where it's like, here's the fucked up thing, but it is incorporating tone and like different locales in a way I really like.
Yeah.
Also, take a picture of the giant waifu.
You got to.
Well, I mean, that's a requirement.
Yeah, you have to.
You take a picture of the 3D and 2D waifu.
Yep.
I think next we go to the mech hangar, right?
Yeah. Do you
I
like the mech hangar?
I like
Dale?
giant robots.
Okay, so caveat to something I said earlier, one picture I did like taking was a straight up right in the face fisheye lens of the mech.
Oh, hell yeah.
Right in the face. Like
hell yeah.
It's horrible, creepy face. And
creepy.
Then, terrifying, and becomes all the more terrifying a little bit later.
Yeah.
But yeah, the spooky one in the secret room.
Oh, yeah, another where the moment drops.
Yes.
That's
horrifying.
happening.
They're like hybridizing kaiju and mech or something?
Yeah.
How can we use our enemies against us?
Very Neon Genesis.
This is the most Neon Genesis level. This is like the nerve hangers.
The mechs even have the one big shoulder pad.
It
like
does
that's
have the
just
one.
the EVA shit.
Yeah. And
one is blue and one is red.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I guess maybe purple would have been better. But
purple would have been better, but it is still I like the they just let this fucking kid group just take photos in there.
Yeah.
Steal a secret key and go to the fucked up room.
Yep.
Very interesting choice on the UN's part.
Yeah. Well,
go ahead. No, you go. I was just going to move on to the next one, but it sounded like...
Oh, I was going to say, I mean, it kind of makes sense, too, though, to kind of stop letting them do that sort of things.
That's true.
After the last level.
You don't have nearly as much access in the actual game before the DLC.
Yep.
I don't remember what level 3 is. I can't find it on a list.
It is, like, the depths or something.
Yeah, underground. The rats.
The sewer rats.
Sewer rats.
It's like a big sewer level.
You meet the
touch
queen
the
of the
water.
rats.
I think that's my least favorite level in Macro.
Okay.
They have a weed farm.
They have a weed farm, though.
Yeah.
They have a cat that looks like an arms dealer.
Hell yeah.
It's bleh. I don't like the cats, but yeah, but they do have lots of guns and weapons, and
there's like a Mad Max fucked up guy on a throne.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
They're all sickos growing
throne
weed.
of blood.
Yeah. They have guns.
And this is the level where you get the spray can, where you could start spray painting the word,
tagging
the world.
The word.
Not the whole
word,
world.
yeah.
Only some parts of it.
The part specifically any UN property.
Yep.
You can. That's what you can tag.
Rules.
And so with UN being everywhere, I of course had to tag every single UN marked item
Hell yeah! See, you're interacting with it.
as Uncle.
Oh yeah.
UN is for Uncle, and maybe.
What you should take pictures of. This is exactly it.
I literally, the rows and rows and rows of refugee tents, they all say Uncle.
Hell yeah.
That was actually probably the most fun I had in the game.
Rules.
I felt so silly doing that.
Uncle.
God. That's exactly what you should be taking pictures of.
Yeah, well, I didn't get the spray can until the second to last game of the entire game. Level of the entire game, yeah.
Should we talk about it? Probably the best level in the entire game.
The last one.
Yeah. The protest.
Yeah.
Where they pull out all the stops.
Where they pull out all the stops.
Starts out as like a regular old,
No, it doesn't start out like a regular old.
You start out by having your friend run right to you.
Yep.
That's unique.
Your friends all join you
Yeah,
up. They're following you.
The first thing you see is your friend running towards you, which is something that's not happened yet.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you are no longer working for money. You are working for essentially likes.
For likes.
To get this out and about.
Yes.
And don't take pictures of people's faces.
No.
You're at a protest. Don't do that.
Yep.
And I love, this game is actual, it's instructive. This is actually instructive to how to do protesting.
Yes.
And what to document and how to document.
What items to bring.
What items to bring.
How to use them. Where
Make
to set up your
shields.
stations.
Yep. Medical tents. You need to have, defensive shield things to block police who will try to beat you.
The level before, actually, there's several pieces of graffiti that tell you how to wear face paint that makes your face unrecognizable to cameras.
Oh, I never saw that.
Yes, there's a couple pieces that say that, and that's specifically, this is something I really liked. The punks in this game, their crazy chaotic makeup, that's what that is.
That's what it's for.
It's image recognition blocking makeup.
And it feels like the punks are the lead on this. Actually.
Oh, yes.
And
there are a few pieces that they say, they talk about liberals, fucking liberals on the walls.
There's a lot of great graffiti in this one. It goes hard, and that's unfortunately the downfall, though.
Yes.
They go too hard.
They go too hard.
The moment.
Yeah.
You push the UN's buttons.
Yep.
And then they push the buttons on their mech.
Yeah. Fucking dark. Mechs to suppress
Mechs
protest.
are not anti-personnel weapons?
No, they are. That's the thing.
Nuh-uh.
But they're
pretty fucking effective when used that way.
Yeah, that's the point, right? It's oh yeah, of course if mechs exist, cops have mechs. Cops will beat people with mechs. They will kill people with mechs.
Yes.
You're not supposed to, though. It goes against Geneva Convention.
Oh, right.
Oh, right.
But you see them not give a fuck about that with all the tear gas canisters.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It deploys tear gas canisters and send the cops to start beating protesters.
Yeah. Again, if I had played this game in 2020, this would have hit.
What was happening in 2020?
Much different.
And this came out a year after, too, I believe, is the DLC. But still.
Yeah. No. Yeah. This.
Yeah, I think it still hits.
Yes.
I think it still really hits.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
It absolutely does.
Everyone is still protesting.
Yes.
A different thing now. But
yes.
Yeah.
And there's a lot for us to be protesting.
Well, technically,
there's a lot for us to be doing a whole lot more about.
A different subject, but not a different thing.
Not really.
Yeah.
Because protests in America are anti-American protests generally.
Yeah.
Which, good.
They're both against the same imperial bloc.
Yep. It's against the same concept and thing.
Yes.
And Umurangi really portrays that really well in a way I don't think I've seen a game do. I can't think of a game where I've seen a protest Breaking Bad goes is like this.
No, this game, especially the last level, it does not pull any stops. It does not let you ignore the message anymore.
Nope.
It makes things very clear.
But remember, video games are not political.
No.
And the ending.
There's one piece of graffiti I really liked. It says, what did it say? I don't know, play Watch Dogs if you want a milquetoast take. There's a piece of graffiti that says
that is
something
so good.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, something like that. Like, play Watch Dogs if you want a milquetoast take.
Because Watch Dogs
like
Legion
that.
came out around the same time.
Yes.
Oh, did it?
Legion
yes.
I thought it came out in...
around that. But I mean,
within a year or two.
But Watch Dogs in general, like the first one for sure, is like
yeah. I thought that was pretty.
That's great.
That ripped.
Yeah,
like,
that was you, Ubisoft.
Great. Yeah,
that's from me personally, by the way.
From a personal Dale attack.
I also really liked that. You don't get the option to take a selfie until this. You don't get to insert yourself in the space until everything's fucked.
Yep.
Until it's done. And it's, okay, well, I guess I can be part of this now.
Yep.
Fuck it. Put my face there.
Yep.
Yeah.
It rules. It's so good. And I like the description is just, don't be shocked if you don't recognize your own face.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Coming after me. Yeah, that's Umurangi.
Great game.
Is there any last thoughts we want to say before we move on to questions?
A great game I didn't enjoy.
two things can be true.
Yes.
Yeah.
PlayStation 1 graphics are just so good.
Barf! I should play Resident Evil 1 again.
Yeah. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
Oh,
Jill,
my God.
the master of unlocking. Barry? Is that you? Sorry. It's hard to devolve into fucking Resident Evil.
That went hard. We go hard for Resident Evil here.
That's
not the game we just played, though. We played Resident Evil 4 last year.
Oh, fuck. We did, didn't we?
Uh-huh. And we talked about a lot of Resident Evil games during that podcast.
That is true.
All I can think about when I think about PlayStation 1 is Crash Bash and the other Crash Bandicoot games. Those are my go-to PlayStation games at my friends' houses.
What about Marvel vs. Capcom 3? Gonna take you for a ride.
That's not a PS1 game.
It's not?
No.
Didn't that come out?
That was like a PS3 game.
I don't know it at all.
Era. That's like Xbox 360.
3?
Yeah.
Am I thinking of 2?
2's like PS2. I think you're thinking of 1. I could be wrong.
It's not here, nor
it's
is
not
it there.
here or there. Why are we having this?
Anyway.
We should get into questions.
Yeah, I think so.
Howdy, Raglan, and good day. It is I, DJ Tariq, here with another fat DJ mix. Bust down UN soldier, bust down. Don't believe the hype, believe in Tariq, instead. Trust in the mix. Protect the beats. In this church of dance, it is dolphin time, aka Young Kaiju. DJ Tariq.
Gonna take you for a ride.
That is not the song that we'll be playing. All right. First batch of questions come from Bean Sprout. What are your favorite features of Umurangi?
Ooh, that's a hard one to answer.
I like the chromatic aberration.
Aberration.
Sure. Aberration?
Abation.
Chromatic masturbation.
Yes.
Look.
Chromobulbidation.
Chromatic aberration is a really cool feature that I think is, as it says in the description, most photographers do not like chromatic aberration.
No.
And what it is when you kind of get this vignetting, this distortion around the edges of the photos.
Yep.
But in this game, it creates a really cool effect.
Because it messes with the lines.
Gives it like a dreamlike quality.
Yep.
Right.
I kind of liked that one too. It was the one I was most apt to try.
Yeah.
But most of the tools didn't work for me. I don't know. I didn't like. I didn't like what I was doing with them. I'll put it that way.
Got a favorite one?
No.
I think lenses.
Yeah.
Just the concept of being able to
But
swap
what's your favorite
lenses.
lens?
I can't do that.
You gotta choose one.
There's a different one for each situation.
We were asked what's your favorite feature.
My favorite feature is the ability to swap lenses.
No.
Yep.
It's the Game
That's
Boy.
a feature.
It's a Game Boy cartridge one is the best lenses.
No,
I love the
no.
Game Boy.
I
love
actually-
the Game
the
Boy
fact
Frit.
that there are so
I
many
wrote
of them.
specifically a note about that one. I was like, this is like the perfect distillation of the aesthetic of this game.
Yeah.
And this is like the concentrated version of that, and that's why I hated it the most. I was like,
I love the game cartridge one.
I knew you would. I
Give
knew
me
you
the-
would.
give me the Game Boy
As soon as I got it,
Frit
I was like,
camera.
Faden loves this.
It's so dumb and bad. I love
Yeah.
it. It makes horrifying things.
The fisheye, I'll probably go fisheye.
Yeah,
lens.
it's
I
it's
grew
the
up with
fun
Steam
indie
videos.
lens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's like something that stands out design choice wise? What's your favorite design choice? What's like?
I know Uncle's least favorite design choice.
Yeah.
The color palette!
The color palette! It hurt my feelings, and I don't know why.
That
but
would be
it
my
did.
favorite design
Yeah.
choice. I love the loud colors.
I would say honestly the graffiti for me hit this time.
The graffiti in macro. That's my favorite design
But
choice.
Yeah.
it makes a point though in macro that there's a reason why the graffiti is the way it is now. Is
Sure.
because of the protest crackdown.
I appreciate that, and I wouldn't have thought about it without you bringing it up.
Yeah. That's what I like about it. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, there's
Yeah.
appropriate graffiti and inappropriate graffiti, and the appropriate graffiti is allowed.
Yeah.
Liberalism. I mean, that's liberalism.
Yes.
There's the right kind of protest, and
Yes.
that's what you're allowed to
Probably
do.
my
We
favorite feature of
tried
this game.
peace. We tried singing. They don't want to change.
And we did it. We did all we could do.
We did all we could do.
Anything you would like enhance or built or more built upon in this game?
I wish there were more rewards for playing around with different aspects of the game. Like I like less reliant on intrinsic reward. That would have helped me maybe feel a little more comfortable playing around with it. I like having so many options that don't ultimately affect how you move through the game other than how you choose to move through the game.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't help me.
So maybe
it's not
if
a
it-
bad choice, but
Right.
it just didn't help me.
Yeah, maybe if it was more directed for you in a way,
Maybe, yeah.
or even just maybe get rid of just like
Well-
take 20 photos as the objective.
Maybe, but like, I don't know. I do feel like, although I resent, like, I feel like personally, I am a fucking punk, but like, but I also know that I thrive with rules. I thrive when someone else helps me with structure, and I think if I'd maybe been given more structure
It
with
might
this
have-
game,
yeah.
I would have had an easier time moving through it. Because I'll tell you, the being forced to use specific lenses for certain shots did kind of teach me a bit about this game.
Yeah, I do like that they do force you to do different lenses.
Yeah.
Our last batch of questions come in from Hilver. This one came in last month, a little bit too late. What are your favorite motorcycles in games? I got one. Leica Age Through Blood. It was because Full Throttle was last month. Dale, you were looking confused.
I'm looking for the questions and I can't find them.
Oh, that's because we barely got any, and so this is... I forgot to put them in.
Oh, okay. What was the question? My brain was disconnected from what you were saying. I'm sorry.
The last batch of questions come in from Hilver. And
Hilver!
the first one is, what are your favorite motorcycles in games?
Does Sable count?
Yeah, I said Sables would count.
Yeah. The hover bikes in Sable are 10 out of 10.
Fucking perfect. I like a Age to Blood, a game that's all about being on your motorcycle / dirt bike.
Yeah.
Yeah. Riding horses in Red Dead Redemption 2 is pretty good.
The original motorcycle.
Yes.
Wait.
Yeah.
Is it pretty good?
I think it's fun.
Or is it kind of fucking annoying?
I think it's really fun.
Oh.
I love how the horse doesn't listen to me sometimes.
I don't know. I don't know.
I thought it was fun.
So, Hilbert also submitted a question for Planescape that I thought might be interesting to touch on. And mostly because of the preamble to it.
Okay.
I have seen the observation that the creators of Planescape Torment didn't understand what made their game so great. Do you have any other examples of games that hit, but not in the way you think the creators intended?
Oh.
Right? That's a good one.
I do.
Yeah?
I don't know if it's not how they intended, but the one other game I play, Total War Warhammer, I play that game in my head with so much more role playing going on, just in how I carry myself and how the choices I make in that game. And I don't think the developers intended for someone to have so much going on in their own, minds while playing this game, creating so many rules for themselves while playing this game. I don't think they intend you to have as much going on in your own internal world while playing that game as I do. That's my example.
Can I say Call of Duty?
Ooh, tell me.
I feel like the purpose of war films, and then by extension war games, is anti-war.
Well, anti-war, but also support the troops.
Yeah.
Sure. But, largely, war is bad.
Right.
We have 90 million Call of Duty games. People are still playing Call of Duty Warzone.
Well, I don't think...
war is fucking awesome. I shoot guns. I want to kill people.
Well, this implies that you think they are making a game about war being bad and not war being sick, especially a game that is contracted by the Department of Defense and has contracts and funding from them and weapon manufacturers, too.
It's not just
Today I learned.
Secretly propaganda.
Right.
Today I learned.
No, Call of Duty is just outward U.S. military propaganda, and you can have bad actors in the military, but the military is ultimately good, and there's good people in it that should be venerated.
There's always going to be a Captain John Price. Or is he the bad guy? I can't remember.
Fuck if I even know.
Something about soap?
Something about soap and a ghost? Yeah. I know there's a soap ghost, and that's about it in Call of Duty.
Well, so maybe not the best example.
Well, no, but tell us more about what you were... why do you enjoy it in a way that's not to be expected? Is it because you see it as anti-war?
Games.
Oh, okay.
No, I think that the people that enjoy these games enjoy it in a way that is like, I love killing instead of I love messages that are anti-war.
Gotcha.
I mean, I think the most recent Call of Duty had a press right trigger to de-escalate as you're going through a trailer park of immigrants.
Yep.
And it pulls out the gun and aims it at them, and your character says, "Go back into your house."
It's de-escalating.
Wow.
Stop resisting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think the audience is getting the right message from Call of
That's
Duty.
pretty yucky. Yeah.
I've been racking my brain, and I know there is something, and I know I even recently talked about something. Maybe it's Tears of the Kingdom, where I just play it really weird, and I don't think they intend that. But no, it's not that. Fuck.
A game that hits in a way you think the developers didn't
intend. Oh, you know what? Strangers of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origins. I don't know if they intend it to not be super serious and instead really funny, but it is really funny.
and not super serious.
And not super serious. But it's grimdark serious. So edgy it's funny. I don't think they intended that, but I love it for it. You really don't?
I wish I had more than just 30 seconds to think about this.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
I just clean forgot because I was like, oh yeah, we don't have questions, and then today happened.
I'm thinking about this one's weird, but the whole meme of Yoshi being a tax evader. I don't think Nintendo intended for that to be a big draw for gamers, but it turned into one.
I like that example.
See, here's the thing. Every time I'm thinking about this, and things you've told me, it's you running into things they didn't intend, and thus you having a bad time, is usually what you will bring up. Like robot arms.
Oh, in Deus Ex.
In Deus Ex.
Yeah.
Or that one game you're playing, D&D.
Oh, Tailspire?
Yes, Tailspire.
Yeah.
What's a thing you did that wasn't intended but you had fun? There has to be something. I guess nobody intended for you to put Mega Man Battle Network 4 music as your internet browser music.
No. I love Mega Man Battle Network. Full stop.
Full stop. If you don't have an answer, you don't have an answer. You know,
I guess
sometimes
I don't have an answer.
Yeah. Well, that's it for questions. Unless you do have an answer. You look like you're thinking.
I might be close to something here.
You might be close to a revelation.
I think in the game Valheim, one of the core purposes of that game is like grind out your materials, become a badass super combat guy. I like farming. I just like staying in the meadows and planting shit. And
also, it wasn't intended to have massive multiplayer servers where we have like 10 people plus on creating a city.
Yeah, the player cap is 10.
But I don't think they intended it like that.
Maybe not.
Because the game ran real bad when we were doing that.
Yeah.
But we were having fun.
We had a huge city there.
The
frames were dropping.
A giant fucking stone portal tower.
Hell yeah.
Will's longhouse.
Hell yeah. That thing was beautiful.
That thing was huge. I don't think it was intended to do that.
Probably not.
And we had like different cities and different places all over in the map.
We colonialized the fuck out of Valheim.
Fucking, what are they called? The goblin guys.
The Chuckle Fucks. That's
Yeah.
what we called them.
Oh, those are... No, I'm thinking of...
Foolings?
Not Foolings, but what's the other ones? What's the base goblins?
Yeah,
The
Foolings.
No, those are... I guess those are goblins, but the other ones. The tree ones that are like...
those aren't goblins?
What are they?
The Grey Dwarfs.
Yeah, those are goblins.
No, they're tree people.
They're fucked up
Ents.
goblins. No, they're not Ents. Are they Ents?
They're trees. They are literally trees come to life. There's a stone that it describes it.
Oh, fuck, I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
I just thought they were little goblins,
No,
as opposed to the he goblins.
They're the spirits of evil people that have been buried, and their malice corrupts the nature around them, and so they rise as these fucked up trees.
Goblins.
Sure.
Tree goblins.
Words have meaning, Faden.
What are we playing next month, Dale?
Planescape Torment!
Nah.
No.
We are playing Grim Dawn.
Grim Dawn. I'm so excited. We get to play this one together.
Yeah, we're co-oping through Grim Dawn.
Dimgron.
And we only did, we got to level 3 maybe, so if you want to join, it's a fun game.
We'll see.
Let's see if your hardware can handle it.
Yeah, hardware, Wi-Fi, there are a lot of limitations.
Worst case, you can play it single player.
I could do that. We'll talk about the options.
Yeah. This is the constant won't he of joining the podcast.
Someday we'll figure it out. Someday I'll manage a way to actually make plans in my life, and be consistent.
Eventually.
Yeah, maybe.
So far, you've been consistent. This is 5 months in a row?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since KOTOR.
Or December, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wowie zow. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been nonstop. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter at Faden Cross. You can ask me questions for this podcast there.
I'd never made the Instagram. I will one of these days.
One of these days.
NTW, I think is what I have us on Twitter. But we'll switch that to Instagram and get some more visual aid for us all.
Probably just start posting screenshots. Very low thing we're talking about. Yeah. Uncle, you have anything you want to shout out? Last time you shouted out vote in your school board elections.
Yes, I always something to look out for. I don't know. I'm your uncle, so reach out to your grandparents if you want to contact me.
Support encampments if you can.
Yes. Student encampments right now definitely need support, especially considering how much pressure they're facing from all kinds of state forces.
Snipers, apparently.
Yeah.
For some fucking reason.
Some very interesting images coming out of a few different universities right now.
And remember not to take pictures of people's faces at protests.
Yes.
Wear masks.
Yeah.
Don't bring your phone.
History is a circle.
History is a circle, and I'm drawing a line. Until next month. Bye, everyone.
Yeah, what a downer note.
I'm sorry. Do you want to try to bring it up?
No, I don't think I can.
Have a good life. Good luck, everybody. Good luck. Good luck.
Good luck. Good fucking luck.
For real, as I hear them coming.